If you had to pick a historical leader, who would you say you want to emulate?
Not emulate, but to learn lessons and characteristics from would be Lincoln. I mean, a team of rivals. If you watch What I Ever Do, but people who didn't support. A nation that's divided. We're nowhere divided the way that was. Looking at how to bring the nation together where everybody, we're conceived in liberty but dedicated to proposition, everybody's equal.
Bringing people together. That's how new House Speaker Kevin McCarthy describes his approach to the job.
The thing you have to do is you respect all the different views in the conference and you bring people together. At the end of the day, you have to make a decision. But as long as you're able to have your input and you listen to everybody, it's easier to bring people together. And using your ears never gets you in trouble, right?
So far, House Republicans are solidly behind him.
He's always friendly, he's always engaging, he's always willing to listen. It's amazing to me how hard he works to keep us functioning as a legislative body.
A lot of people go scorched earth and burn the bridges and never look back on those relationships. Kevin can have some of the most heated discussions with someone and then still go back and want to rebuild that bridge with them.
Even some who initially thought he wasn't up to the job.
Mr. McCarthy doesn't have the votes today. He will not have the votes tomorrow.
Have come around.
I would give Speaker McCarthy a very strong A for the work that he's done so far. It is to his great credit that he has now embraced some of the changes that we wanted to bring to the House of Representatives.
McCarthy embraced those changes in part to nail down the support of highly conservative caucus members like Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz to win the speakership.
I think a lot of people are concerned that with these conservative members, that you're beholden to them in a way.
You know, a lot of people will say a lot of different things, but watch how I govern.
Catholic University professor Matt Green, who studies congressional leadership, explains those deals included giving some hard-right members key assignments, such as seats on the House Rules Committee, which decides what legislation reaches the floor.
We've seen some of those folks exercising that influence already, calling for hearings in committees that they chair, or otherwise using the bully pulpit that they have to speak out on the causes that are important to them.
McCarthy has also taken steps like creating a special subcommittee to investigate alleged bias by federal agencies against conservatives and releasing 40,000 hours of Capitol security footage of the January 6th riot to Fox News host Tucker Carlson, decisions that pleased his hard-right members. The empowerment of his most controversial members has created some awkward moments for McCarthy, as when Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene called for splitting the U.S. into red and blue states, what she called a national divorce.
You come from a blue state and you're a red district. What was your reaction to that?
When I looked at that statement, I disagreed with it, but you know what I found? People across the country also felt that way. And that's not a good place for the country to be. So what we have to learn is we can respect somebody that has a different opinion.
The difficulty for McCarthy, Green says, will be the word no.
He's very good at knowing the members of his party and knowing where they stand, what their positions are. The flip side of that is that he has a reputation of being kind of a schmoozer, to the point that he just really wants people to support him and may not always be willing to give them bad news or say no to them.
The speaker is also trying to develop a working relationship across the aisle.
We built a good rapport with Hakeem Jeffries. Different than the relationship I ever had with Nancy Pelosi. And taking this job as Speaker, I decided I'm going to treat Hakeem the way I wanted to be treated. Everything doesn't have to be partisan. There's a lot of things that happen here that are just the institution itself, and I treat him equal.
It's a sentiment Jeffries seems to echo.
Speaker McCarthy and myself have, agreed to disagree strongly on a whole host of issues. But try not to be disagreeable for the good of the functioning of the institution and the country.
McCarthy worked for years to become Speaker. In the last election, he recruited top-tier candidates and raised money for them, leading the Republican drive to retake control of the House last November.
When you wake up tomorrow, we will be in the majority and Nancy Pelosi will be in the minority.
Yeah! The election was actually unexpectedly close. It took 8 days to determine that Republicans won, their majority just 5 seats, making every vote a potential nail-biter. And now McCarthy is beginning a high-stakes confrontation with President Joe Biden over the nation's borrowing limit. The speaker and his conference are demanding Biden accept deep spending cuts before they agree to more debt. But first, McCarthy has the very public leadership challenge to unite his conference on what they want on the chopping block.
I would look at every place that we spend money. Where can we be more efficient? Where can we make the dollar go further?
That decision won't be easy. McCarthy says the largest programs, Social Security and Medicare, should be spared, and other Republicans have begun staking out priorities they want protected.
I don't envy McCarthy for having to deal with big issues like the debt limit and government funding and potential shutdowns in his very first year as Speaker. We have seen those issues crop up before, and they have caused serious problems for speakers in the past, and in some cases even helped bring about their early end as Speaker. So McCarthy has got his work cut out for him.
McCarthy says he's up to the challenge.
There are struggles, but you rise up every day.
In Washington, Cassie Simeon, Spectrum News.